And there's his authentic signature. No shit, I actually found a copy of it. Never publish your signature. And I put in brain donor, and it's very obvious this is fake. The date of birth is accurate, but I did this as shitty as possible so that there would be no doubt that this is bullshit. And I wanted to put in, none for sex and eyes, blayet. But anyway, 5'9", I'm leaving that. That was actually some chick in here originally. But yeah, from a guy who yelled about people's origin story and proof that they had no conflict of interest, Mr. I am totally not colluding with Russia, Trump. And by the way, if you're not aware of it, Trump did something intelligent here. If you're not aware of it, yes, this is an image I just simply stuck in here. There are virtually no images of him looking straight at the camera like you would do for either a mugshot or for ID. And I know for a fact that he was told to do that. Always show your good or best side. Never do a complete three-quarter view, because that used to be used in passports, or straight-on view for a camera photo, if you can help it, with any background that's neutral, because it's way too easy to phony up paperwork, documentation, and more importantly, just don't do that. Now, I used to get paid as a professional paranoid. That's one of the things I put on my, job description at one time, besides hacker or computer security technician or doing audits for computer systems and also for the personnel at a job site. And the reason for that is, and this isn't a claim I can back up, is that what I did was I try to make failure impossible or as impossible as I can possibly. Or something better. I had a t-shirt for it, just rolls off the tongue like vomit. But anyway, this is obviously not his New York State driver's license. And I find it funny that when you look it up, it actually censors out his date of birth, but it leaves his height in. And I, of course, made him shorter. Now, let's look at some more fun stuff here. Blight! Okay, now I want to point out that on Wikipedia you can look at a obviously redacted version of someone's passport or ID cards for various countries. And one of the problems with this is that if you look at this, you can figure out mathematically how to free draw this and get rid of this Moyer pattern that proves that it is in fact a Moyer pattern and make a decent fake that'll fool the eye. Won't fool a computer. And yeah, they do a lot of biometric things to fix it. And of course, there we go. Donald Trump's Russian passport. Now obviously it says Trump, and this is Donald, the rough translation in Russian. And over here it says little bitch. I wanted to put tiny hands, but little bitch would actually fit it better. I'm not kidding about that. The word hands actually didn't fit as well. And I put in the birth date, and all the other stuff is just fine. And obviously it's fake. Now we're going to use this as a really simple image macro for a few minutes here, as they say. What if the Russian Federation, the Chinese government, and North Korea all decided that they did not want Trump to be elected president? Now remember the irony of Donald Trump screaming till his balls exploded about Barack Obama's birth certificate somehow being invalid or him not being an American or whatever. Please also remember that there are several Republican candidates over the years that were, like, one of them was born in the Panama Canal Zone. And in the case of Trump with his birth certificate, he didn't actually present his birth certificate. And I don't know if you understand that, but I'm going to repeat that. Donald Trump, as a point of intentionally doing this, refused to provide a real, as he would call it, birth certificate. He provided a hospital birth certificate, which is something that is never considered official and can be phonied up at the drop of a hat, and, it has been turned out, probably wasn't really the original. The only record that proves that he exists, that's an official record, is a microfilm, which nobody would have a reason to fake, and nobody has a reason to believe it's fake. But it was literally a line of data about as complex as this. I'm not kidding. This part I'm hovering over where it says Russian Federation in both Cyrillic, Russian, and also in English. The line of data literally just indicated that he was born. It was just a list of births that month in New York State. That's it. He did not present, and I'm not joking about this, Donald Trump went out of his way to refuse to provide a real birth certificate by his own standards and by birther standards. As a point of proving, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you can prove something. It's whether or not you can make another person go through the hoops and make them try to prove it. Again, the whole point of the birther movement, and in fact every truther movement, is to never provide evidence. Don't sink to the level of a person you're accusing. demand that they provide proof, and then reject it. It's a tactic. Okay? So here's my proof that he had a Russian passport. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is really simple. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, but not in politics and not on the internet with truthers. This proves, and it's prima facie evidence, that Donald Trump had dual citizenship because he had a passport from another country, correct? Some of you already know where I'm going with this, and you're saying, yeah, but, because only bad things apply to liberals. Only bad things apply to Democrats. If you show the same thing exactly, obviously I'm faking this, but if you show the exact same thing about a Republican, they will defend it. Okay? Donald Trump could be literally found in bed with a 12-year-old child raping them, and you'd still find a way to defend it. Trust me, a lot of you out there would. So let's move on a little bit here. But what if the Russian government, the Chinese government, and the North Korean government all decided to produce paperwork? Because, I don't know if you get this, a government is legally allowed to make authentic documents. They're not required to put accurate information on it. And both the United States, Russia, China, North Korea, and every other country has falsified documentation for the purpose of spying, which would be even more proof. Well, you obviously have this done, and only spies get this done, therefore you must be guilty. If they wanted to, they could put out a bunch of passports like this that made them look like, the born identity guy. They could make him, Matt Damon. They could Matt Damon the hell out of Donald Trump and make a big fucking stink about it. Because it's paperwork. It's literally shit they print. The government prints your ID. You know that, right? And if the U.S. government wanted to phony it up, wouldn't they just make it impossible for you to detect a phony by not making a phony, but just making a real document? I mean, this is shit here, but honestly, if I had access to the equipment and the security paper, I could easily make him a bunch of documentation in Russia. Just like any bureaucrat in Russia could have done this. That's the exact claim that was made about Barack Obama. Okay? But what if I did this? What if Russia did this? Would that affect whether or not he got elected? Yes. Because a bunch of people claimed the same thing about Barack Obama. And that would be bitter, literally poison-laced irony to do that to Donald Trump. And up here, I could just phony up, this is relatively easy. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could really make him a good fake license. Not that I'm guilty of that when I was a kid. You can't look that up. Anyway, but I'm actually, even though this looks like complete shit, I'm absolutely trained in making phonied up documentation like this. Totally true. Totally didn't pull that out of my ass. But no, I'm actually qualified to do this. I'm just not going to do it good because I really don't want to falsify a New York State ID. That would literally put me in jail. This is obviously fake. It's supposed to be fake, including brain donor. You always do that. But what if somebody decided to give him an ID that made him look, unusual or screwed up? Okay? All right, now we're going to go on to the next stage, and it is not Barack Obama I'm talking about. Remember, all a country would have to do is deliberately send him a passport and an ID that showed that he's a Russian citizen. Period, full stop. Well, and if they said they gave it to him symbolically, or they did it to him, gave it to him because he was doing something good for Russia, and they gave him honorary citizenship, would that invalidate him? And would that invalidate Barack Obama? Okay. Now, we're going to go on to a different subject. Now for something completely different. July 2018, the seaside village of Mati, near Athens in Greece, had a wildfire. Tom Hanks and his family and his wife brought global attention and appealed for aid during that occurrence. December 2019, the president of Greece cited Hanks and his family's exceptional service to Greece and signed an honorary citizenship order, which became a naturalization order, saying they were Greek citizens. Now, I don't know if you understand this, but that at that moment started a process. Guess how long the process normally takes from requesting to having it happen? Next, July 2020, the Prime Minister of Greece and his wife handed Greek passports to both Tom Hanks and his wife. And then people say he was on that date or something like that, a naturalized American citizen, when this literally was declaring them naturalized Greek citizens with dual citizenship. Now, here is the problem with this. What if Greece had congratulated Donald Trump by giving him honorary citizenship before he became a presidential candidate? Would that be a violation of some sort? Would that mean that Donald Trump had somehow lost his citizenship? Would that show that he had some conflict of interest? Is this a serious subject that you need to take on? Again, this is legit, really, literally. The Prime Minister of Greece and his wife handed over Greek passports. They're actual passports, apparently. But we don't know. This was an honorary citizenship, but it was a naturalization order by the who? The President of Greece. That would be like Donald Trump granting citizenship to a foreign citizen and allowing them to come to the United States on a visa as being somebody who's running away from an evil government. Okay? I mean, there's all sorts of conspiracy theory bullshit that comes out about this, but here's the problem. At that moment, do you believe that Tom Hanks lost citizenship? Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm going somewhere with this. No, on that date, that's not the date that Tom Hanks became a naturalized American citizen, which literally is someone lying about the lie they were telling. I don't know how people lieception that badly. So let's look at Donald Trump's passport from Russia that I phonied up. Okay, it's against the law in Russia and many other countries to put someone's personally identifiable data up unless it's publicly available information. And putting in the little bitch and putting OU812 up here obviously shows this is not authentic documentation and I can't be flagged for it. Here's the question. Did you know that Donald Trump actually has a Russian passport? No, I'm not shitting you. Did you know that he has one? He stated that he did in an interview. He just never provided proof of it. Just like he refused to provide real proof of anything better than Barack Obama's birth certificate, Donald Trump, dead ass, claimed at one time to have a Russian fucking passport. Because that would allow him to go to countries that would normally exclude an American. He could just show a Russian passport. Because one of his relatives, his wife, is directly related to a Russian national who became an American citizen. And guess what you can get if you are related or married to a Russian or former Russian citizen? You can legally request, and they can decide on their merits, whether or not you should have a Russian passport. Donald Trump dead-ass said that he has a Russian passport, a real one. Long time ago. Before, I mean, he wasn't even being paid attention to, he just mentioned it. After he got married, he requested one. Or they gave him one as an honorific. Because he was doing business in Russia, because he had relatives from there, because one of the oligarchs is related to his freaking wife. His wife married somebody that looked like her dad. I mean, that's it. Okay? I also want to point out that, coincidentally, and yes, this may be smart, you can't find a year 2000 to 2005 image of Donald Trump looking straight at the camera good enough to be a good passport fake photo. Just saying. So did I really fake his passport, or did I just deliberately muck up the real one? Unless you know Cyrillic and know the little bitch joke there, you're not going to get it. And is that literally that? So again, yeah, Donald Trump at one point, very long time ago, claimed that he got a Russian passport. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he'll deny it. Donald Trump is notorious for saying shit and then taking it back. But let's discuss this for a second. He married a Russian national, right? Or a Ukrainian national? Was it Russian controlled? Could he have gotten a passport? Obviously. Did he get one? I'm saying he did, but I can't prove it because I can't find the damn thing. For the same reason I can't find a really good copy of his driver's license. Was Tom Hanks a naturalized citizen in the United States, yes or no? No, he's not a naturalized citizen in the United States. That's not what happened. He was declared ceremonially to be to be Greek. They decided you're a Greek person now because he was so nice to the Greek people, and he received an honorary citizenship. But once it became legally usable as a passport, which you can give a passport to somebody, it doesn't mean they're a citizen. A passport doesn't say citizen. It says you're a Russian citizen in here. You notice it says Russian Federation, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't actually mention citizenship unless it specifies it. And some of them have a passport that says citizen rather than being under diplomatic status. I can get diplomatic status and get a Russian passport just like anybody else, just like I can get an American passport. So, to review, did Donald Trump lose his citizenship when he stated that he got a Russian passport, or did he ever say that? Now, I don't have to prove this. The same reason you don't have to prove Tom Hanks gave up his citizenship or ever lost it. Tom Hanks was born and bred in the United States. He's a fully American person. He doesn't have lost American citizenship. He's not a naturalized American.